video is going to cover Clever, how to access it, and how to share resources with your students. Let's get started. We're going to begin by logging into Clever with Active Directory. Students can get to this login page from the TSC Tech links or the student portal. Clever is an instant login portal, so once students log in, they are also automatically logged in to resources like BrainPop, Reading Eggs, iExcel, and iReady. So I'm going to click Login with Active Directory here, and then it will prompt me to log in with my TSC username and password, and I'll click Sign In. As a teacher, I'm brought to my homeroom page. So I'm going to see my pages across the top, and we'll go through those in just a second. If I've favorited any resources, those are going to show up next. Next, we'll have resources added by me. And then finally, I'll have my district instant login applications and any TSC login required applications. So I'm going to see all of this information, and then we also use Clever for K-5 Tech Lab, so you'll see those links as well. If I'd like to share resources with students, I'm going to click on my page, and I'm able to organize resources in here. So let's take a little tour of this page. So on my teacher page, I'm able to see on the left-hand side here, I'll see a list of my students, and I'll be able to see if they're logged in or not logged into Clever. That list will show their name. If they are logged in, it'll have a little green check mark. If they're not logged in, they'll have a red X, and those will show down at the bottom. If I am a K2 teacher, I am also able to print badges from this area. I don't have any K2 students, but I would see a Login Tools button right here, and that's where I would print badges for all of my kiddos. And then in the main area here, this is where I'm going to organize information for the kids, and this is how they're going to access resources. So they'll be able to get to any of the applications that I've added as well as the district applications. So let's add some resources. Down at the bottom right, I can click the Add button, and I can either add a category, and you can see these two categories I have here, Welcome Back to School and our math apps. I can add a link, and a link is going to be to an outside resource, not necessarily an application that's in Clever, but maybe it's a link to a Screencastify video or a link to the TSC webpage, and you can see both of those right there. And then finally, I can also add an application. So I'm going to add a new category today, and it is going to be reading. So in my reading category, I'd like to add a link to the Tippecanoe Public Library. So I'm going to grab that link, and I'm going to paste it here. And then I'm able to choose my category, and I can choose an icon. And maybe I'm going to use the icon from the public library itself. So I can grab that icon, and then I'm going to choose Upload. And it will upload the icon for me, and then I'll just click Add Link. So you can see here now in my reading category, I have a link to the county library. Next, I'm going to add an application. So when I choose application, I'm able to search within here, and I can also go to see 103 more resources. This is going to open up the library that's available within Clever. So maybe there's something like Newsela. I already know that I want to use that with the students, or I'm just going to kind of browse what things are available within Clever. So in grades 3 through 5, under English, these are some of the applications that I have available to me. And some of these might be things that you have used in the past. Some of these might be new resources. If you're looking at a new resource, I'm going to come into one of these resources here. What I will want to make sure that I look at when I am exploring that resource are the details over here on the right hand side. And so you can see this one is a free trial. What that says to me is I'm only going to be able to use this for a certain amount of time, and then that access is going to go away. So that might not be a resource that I really want to use with the students on a regular basis. So let's go back to our English one and see if we can find a free resource here. Here's another one. So we had free trial before. Here's one that says freemium, and that is, again, free for a little while, not free all the time. So now that I've found a resource that I'd like to add for the students, notice that I'm adding this resource. It's free. I can choose install, and then it will ask me to authorize my class. So I'm just going to choose allow and continue. Depending on the resource, it might ask you to sign up for an account through that resource. There might still be some account setup, which is what it's taking me through right now. We're not going to worry about that too much in our video today, but I would go through the account setup, and then that new resource is going to show up here under reading for my students. So I'm able to build things out here. And as a reminder, I can, create my own videos, create my own resources. Maybe there's links to resources that we have purchased at TSC, but maybe aren't apps in Clever. I can always add links to those things. So keep in mind that link is really a very powerful tool in addition to being able to add apps. And then of course you will want to make sure that you're using your categories to keep everything organized and all of that. So in addition to being able to add all of these resources for our students, we're also able to create announcements for the kids. So you can see I have an announcement here from June 2nd. And what I'm able to do is create a new announcement up here at the top. So I'm going to create a new announcement. You can only have one announcement at a time, so it is going to replace my old announcement. But I'm going to type a new announcement in here. And then I can allow for student replies. Replies are always only going to be visible to you as the teacher. And maybe this is some way for you to check in with the students if we are remote learning. You post an announcement on Monday and you want them to reply to you. So they'll come into Clever and they will reply. And then I'm just going to click post and it's ready to go. It'll be right at the top of the page when the students log in. In addition to, all of these things that I can do on my teacher page, I'm also going to get an analytics page, which is going to show me what students are active. Now, I don't have any active classes, but we do have some screenshots that we'd like to share with you. So this is just a quick snapshot of what the analytics page would look like. On your analytics tab, you're going to get the name of each of your students. It will show you when they logged in last and what resources they used. You can also see if you have any students that have been inactive for the last 7 days, so they haven't logged in at all. But it is also only going to show data for the last 2 weeks, so keep that in mind. This is a nice new feature, particularly if we are looking at going to remote learning in the future. For 2 through 5 teachers, when students are in your class, as long as students are logged into Clever, you are able to launch applications for them. So I can click on the Classes tab inside of Clever and I can choose to launch an application for all of my students within that class. Again, students will need to be logged into Clever in order for this to work, but it is a nice little feature. It gets everybody to the website as quickly as possible. The last piece I'd like to share is what it looks like for a student to log into Clever and access resources. So they're going to go to the Clever login page just like a teacher would. They'll log in with Active Directory. They'll type in their username and password. and it will bring them to their Clever portal page. It's going to look a little different for students. It's going to be a little more streamlined, and they obviously won't have the analytics and classes piece that teachers have. But you can see here, Tyler has some resources that he's favorited. He'll have his teacher pages. He'll have his instant login applications. And then as we can continue to go down, the login required, K5 tech links, and you're going to see all of those categories over on the side here. If Tyler's ready to use one of these resources, all he needs to do is just click on the resource. It's going to log him in through Clever, and then it will bring him to that IXL resource, and you can see up here at the top, he can verify that he is logged in. Thanks for watching this webinar. As always, if you have any questions, you can contact the Connected Learning team at clteam@tsc.k12.in.us.